Hey, welcome
Hey.
to lunch.
Yeah.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
I am doing well.
Cheers.
Better now.
Yeah,
Wild trip back from Wisconsin. So happy to be
I
home.
was still Kevin. I was like, I forgot he was going to Wisconsin. I was like, oh yeah. And the only thing I think is from that thing you do. That's they were in Wisconsin when they get the call to head to LA, and he's like looking up under the car. He goes, I like Wisconsin. Girls skirts over top of the car. So I was like, yeah. Drove through Wisconsin a couple times. Like Scott and I did that one time when we did one of these shows that should not be named ever again, but Wisconsin was a nice drive.
It was a nice drive, but we were like nice driving weather. Did you have like a snowstorm or anything?
No, it was incredibly windy. It was actually a really good trip. It's just once you get too far into Wisconsin, it's just like nothing. It's like you just keep going and further into like cheese and but they have lots of beer up there, so I was okay. We stopped for beer, every hour or two, then we're okay. So it worked.
Yeah. The place I got to go to at some point, I just learned I am loving TikTok. I'm like getting sucked into the vortex. This is proof Facebook is officially dead. It's dying. It was the same with MySpace. When I finally made the conversion overnight it became a ghost town because like I was one of the holdouts. And now I'm on TikTok. And I'm telling you, you learn so much. There is a place called Uranus, Missouri, I think it is. And the town has fully embraced its name. They have a fudge packing factory there. They have billboards saying to come pack fudge in your Uranus.
I know what you're talking about. I seen a sign somewhere talking about this, and it was like coming soon, Uranus, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So thank you for picking Uranus as the sign on the way out.
Exactly. Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. So
yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Yeah. So, what are we all here for today, boys?
Yeah.
It's our first Kickstarter of the year.
Yeah, 2022, starting our first Kickstarter, which is officially live as of right now. We have some fantastic Poe Enamel pins. Wonderful pins. Bunch of different options. These are fantastic metal pins. 5 different options with a variant for the Poe head and a limited edition set where you can buy all of them. Nice. Poe has been such a great success for us with the books. The response has been great, and almost everybody from the Kickstarters asked for pins. So here we are. We're giving you what you guys asked for. All the pins are going to come carded, very nicely carded, and the limited edition sets, which we can show you on the Kickstarter, is going to be limited to only 25. So it's a great opportunity to get the pins at a very low price.
And the other nice thing is these are in hand.
Yeah, so, these are all, I have these all physically here. Every bit of the rewards are already here. So this is a fantastic Kickstarter because it is going to ship as soon as the Kickstarter is done. The funds and everything gets all the information. This is going to be a very fantastic, quick turnaround on the rewards.
This is as low risk as you can get on a Kickstarter. We have a great track record. How many Kickstarters do we have now for Bardstone?
I think this is 8.
Isn't this 8?
I think so.
I think this is 8. Yeah.
And plus, we have individual Kickstarters we've done in the past too. On top of that, all of them successful, all fully funded, all shipped on time. Update Crimson Shadows. We are in the process of getting those packed, and those will be shipped just in time. We had some sourcing issues. It turned out on some inventory for the metals that Reddy had to get in. Everything else is in hand. The metals are just shipped out today. I will have them no later than Tuesday next week. So in the meantime, I'm getting the orders ready. And as soon as those metals come in, I just slip them in and they're going out the door.
Fantastic.
But
yeah,
so Kevin was smart enough to get everything ahead of time.
Yeah, I wondered how long it was going to take. So our good friend Jay Fife, who, by the way, contributed to Poe Macabre Master issue number 2, also during his day job works for a pin company, and he hooked us up with Infinity Pins that does a fantastic job.
And by contributing, you mean he actually contributed creatively to the process?
Yes, yes. Sorry, I yes, I digress. That is correct. He illustrated Annabelle Lee in issue number 2 of Poe. Did a wonderful job. Known Jay for years. Great guy. Loved to have him as part of the Bardstone family, and did a great job. So he turned us on to this company, and I really wanted to try our hands with the enamel pins. So I ordered these about middle of last year, actually.
Hey, and I am the first backer.
Hey, nice.
Yes, I'm number 1. Kevin tells me I'm number 1 often through silence.
Well, and see, Kevin's always telling me to watch out for number 1. Just don't step on number 2.
That's right. Yes. So there are a couple of early bird rewards. So all the individual pins are $8 each plus shipping, and the limited set is $40, but there are some early birds. So if you do the early bird, I believe there is 10 available for the pins and 5 available for the sets, and you'll get some extras. For the individual pins, you'll get an extra or a bonus hand-drawn sketch card of a random comic character, someone that I'll throw in. And if you do the early bird limited edition set of the pins, you'll get some free swag, a vinyl sticker, a couple of prints. You're gonna get hooked up with some extra swag. So there's a couple early birds in there for people to take advantage of and to get some nice, neat stuff.
And Kevin likes when you take advantage of his special packages.
That's right. Take advantage of my package. Early and often.
Yeah, and the carded you get the full set. If you get the full set, they're limited number and they're individually numbered. I got to see the packaging. Actually, Brett has one on the card. Or do you have any on? You have the cards too, Kevin, I guess.
Yeah, I think Brett has one together. I actually don't. I think Brett has the only prototype.
Don't ask where it's at. It's somewhere.
We put Brett on the spot. Oh no.
No, that's all right. I meant to look for it earlier, but I had a chance to make some money, so I went and made money.
That's okay.
It's somewhere. I got stacks of crap everywhere.
Well, we got a screenshot of it, don't we?
It's on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
If you scroll down, you'll see the.
Now it does not include the Poe purple one, right?
The white headed Poe. Keep going down a little bit.
There it is.
There you go. So there's the 5 set. So the 5 set comes with the black and white Poe, but there's also a variant purple Poe that's available as an add-on. All the pins are available as add-ons, but they are limited. Mm-hmm. I did a very limited run on these pins, so there's only a handful of add-ons available, and some of them are limited to only 10. So grab them while you can. So you can get the full set. You could add on the purple head Poe if you'd like afterwards with the add-ons, which is a great feature that Kickstarter does now. You also can add on a couple other things, digital copies of the books if you'd like. We've got some stickers and some buttons and some other fun things that you can add on also. But the set for $40, you get the carded set numbered to 25, limited. For only $40. It's a great deal. It really is a fantastic deal.
Yeah, it looks great.
These pins they're wonderful. The people I have shown them to have been very impressed with them. And personally, the amount of detail and what they were able to accomplish with these pins it blew my mind. I've seen a lot of these pins, but to actually see your artwork and what you designed turn out exactly the way you drew it and you imagine it would look, or even better in a pin, is phenomenal. They're fantastic. They really are. I could not be happier with the quality.
Yeah, I love how they look. And I've seen other the company that Jay Fife is with. They do a phenomenal job. They really do.
Great. What a wonderful company. I already reordered some because I already know I'm gonna need some more after the Kickstarter. So,
and if you hold these up beside like the Disney pins, the quality is just as good.
Yeah, yes. I bought a couple of other pins as comparison, and I had these pins in hand when I went out to San Diego and C2E2, and there was a lot of vendors with pins, and I went around and did a lot of comparisons, and these are on par with everything I saw that anyone else had, from smaller people in Artist Alley all the way to the bigger companies selling, where they have 1,000 options for these pins. So I
bought some off Kevin for the San Diego show out there because we just kind of test marketed it, and as soon as I put them out, people were buying them.
Yeah,
it was literally like, oh my god, these are awesome, and when people picked them up, it was like, oh, these look cool. And as soon as they found that, oh, it's a metal pin, it's not just like a little stamped out little thing. It really is something worthwhile. They're like, wow, this is really cool, and they were gone fast. I was overcharging. I charged more than Kevin because I made people pay more if they were going to buy the books. Because I wanted them to buy the books more than anything. So,
yeah. So these are definitely a good deal. The pins individually $8 are they'll sell at the shows for $10 at least. So this is a discount. If you add it on anything, the shipping's much discounted. So it really is a good deal. I did throw a little a little note in there. International shipping sucks right now. There's just no way around it.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. There's nothing. I did my best guess with what it would cost to ship these internationally, and it still sucks. It's super high, but it's the best guess I have. And I just want to tell anybody internationally, anyone that orders and that is an international order will get some extra fun stuff added in just as a thank you, and just to try to help and say, we know it sucks with the shipping costs. So anyone that orders pins or anything internationally is going to get some nice fun swag along with the pin or whatever they order.
I'll tell you what though. I think they're just used to it. Like my last Kickstarter, I really had to jack up the prices. I lost my butt 2 Kickstarters ago on the international shipping costs, and I had to really jack up that price. And I don't think anyone flinched at it. Nobody seems to have an issue with it because I think they know it's. Plus, for them, it's even worse because they also have to pay. A lot of these countries, they have to pay a value-added tax on it.
Exactly.
So they have to pay a tax on the value on top of it.
Yeah.
So, but international absolutely sucks. But you guys are awesome fans. So, like for the Crimson Shadows, I am more than willing to do it. It's a hassle filling out the paperwork and getting all the forms, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But you guys make it.
It is the worst part. It's the worst part.
It is, but they make it worth it. The fans are awesome in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. We always have. I always have a couple of people. Scott and I made some good friends when we were over in France a couple years ago at the Paris Comic Con, and we've had supporters from there from every Kickstarter. Thank you guys so much. And England's always a good one for us.
Yep. We've had Germany, I believe.
Germany,
There's James.
Yeah, he just wants to know which 5 pins does it have included there.
So it's the pictured set.
So which I'll pull that up right now, right there. Yep.
And that's what the front of the.
Yeah, if you want the purple-headed Poe, you got to do it as an add-on.
Right, and because the set comes with the white, and then you can see that's the front with the 5 pins, and if you scroll down just a little bit. That was what the back of the card will look like. Sorry, go back up.
Oh, yeah, yep, right there.
There you go. So every one of them has the Bardstone logo, and it is hand numbered to only 25. So it's a nice carded limited edition for all the pins. there's some add-ons, the different pins that you can add on. You can add on. I got some Poe buttons, some vinyl stickers, every one of the pins, and digital copies of the first 3 issues of Poe at a significant discount. So if there's going to be a lot of people, I really believe that are going to be interested in vinyl pins. I'm hoping to open up our fan base to the pin collectors. So if anyone out there likes the pins, great. But for $6, you can get the first 3 issues of Poe and read it digitally. Well, we'd love for you guys to grab that.
You notice the physical copies aren't there because it's been doing so well in sales.
There's not many left.
There's not many left.
Yeah, we're running
out. There's not many physical copies left. I'm happy to say that.
I've got Scott's supply that Kevin sent up in the fall because we hadn't had a chance to get together since November. And those are designed for the Crimson Shadows Kickstarter to fulfill those. But yeah, we're running out. In fact, I told people last weekend, I said, look, this is it. This is what the actual issues, get them now, because when the trade comes out, which the trade will have extra stuff in it, so it'll be worth getting the trade too. If you want first editions, get them while you can because they're going to be gone. I don't expect mine to last. I've got 3 shows between now and Easter, and I do not expect them to last on the Poe and the Crimson Shadows.
It's been
a lot of the issues will be running out by the time Indiana, which I imagine Indiana Comic-Con is going to be back to its full size and attendance on Easter weekend.
Well, more and more stuff's opening up. They've announced Michigan has dropped their mask mandates for everything now. So
good.
Everything's opening up. So by then we should be all in the clear and
freedom.
Come out.
Yes. Freedom. Yeah. So it's
the real answer is midterms are coming.
No. The science has changed.
It has changed. That's right. That's right. Thank you, James. You are awesome.
Thanks,
He's a
James.
rock star. I believe we've a lot of people. We have had awesome supporters of Bardstone. James is one of those where we have so many return people, which is just a testament to people are liking the product, the quality, our delivery. And James is just you rock, James, and thank you so much. So we're at 253 now, so we're quickly at the 50% mark pretty soon.
Almost, yeah.
One pledge away of the 5-pin set, and we're there.
We were in San Diego. There was at least 3 or 4 different people that came up to me, introduced themselves, say, "Hey, I backed the book, Crimson Shadows or Poe." Being out in California and having people seek you out to say that it's so heartwarming. I can't put that into words, guys. I really can't. It's great.
We had people that came to both of us. It was hilarious. I had people come to me and I said, "Oh, well, Kevin's over in Artist Alley," and they're like, we gotta go." And they literally would run. I mean, this is a rare San Diego to actually run through the show.
That's right.
We'll go over there, and I sent everybody over there to them. And then every once in a while, someone would come to me and they go, "Oh yeah, I was over at Kevin's table, and I need you to sign these. Here's issue 2 of Poe, and here's the Crimson Shadows. So, these are awesome."
For reference, for those of you who've not been to the San Diego Comic-Con, it's about an 8-mile trip from Brett's table in Artist Alley, or in the small press to Kevin's table in Artist Alley.
Yes,
the floor is huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it was a little more open because it wasn't as big a show as it was a good sized show still, but not as big attendance wise as the regular one. There were still about 30,000 people there, but and people loved it because they could actually move between places. Come July, if I by chance I do get a small press and we're able to do like we did before, it's not gonna be easy to say, "Yeah, go see Kevin in Artist Alley." It'll take you 2 days.
Oh yeah,
right.
So, talking about how people come up to the tables too. When I was at Motor City Comic-Con, I had a number of people come up saying, "Oh, I've been backing your Kickstarters. I want to see what issues I've missed." And they're looking, and there were a number of people who had all the issues and the variant covers. So that was so cool too. It's like, well, it sucks I can't sell you anything, but thank you. I'm glad you supported everything. So it's just the support on Kickstarter has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, appreciate that. Yeah.
It's been so great. I'm looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to the fact that the shows are going to be more at full capacity and in full size, and we've got some great shows lined up. I am so excited to get back to Vegas and do that show. And there's so many people in Vegas in that area that have backed the book, and from doing that Comic-Con for I think 6-7 years, I can't remember how long. It seems like we've been doing that show for a long time.
This will be, I think, my third or fourth. I know you guys were going a few years before I got out there. So
I can't wait to see those guys. We see these people usually every year, and you get to say hey, and it's been at this point it'll be 3 years for Vegas. So it's going to be great to see all the fans and get to say hi to all those people in that area that's backed the book. So it's just great. Thank you guys so much. Everything that you guys do enable us to do this.
In addition to the great shows coming up, we have a number of Kickstarters lined up already for this year. We got the enamel pin set here. Right behind it, I have the Frankenstein novel completed with 30 original illustrations put to it. It's the Mary Shelley original novel combined with I've added a prologue and epilogue to the book to show how the original novel will tie into the Crimson universe. So we're using the actual novels as our origin stories for our characters. So I got that. I'm about halfway done with the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I'm thinking I might group that together as a single Kickstarter to have both those novels available. Then we have the trade paperbacks coming. We got Poe as a trade with bonus content, bonus stories. And we're doing the same with Crimson Shadows. We're combining issues 1 and 3 into a single book with bonus story that you will only get in that trade. So, and then that's not even. Then after that, we're furthering the series. For Crimson Shadows. And what are you doing with Poe? You're actually doing like a volume 2 issue 1, I believe.
So the collection we'll collect issues 1 through 3 of Poe and have 2 additional stories, an additional poem. And the other story is the case of M. Voldemort, which is basically a zombie story.
It's going back to your Comic-Con roots.
So it is exactly right. Zombies. I love it.
I remember when I first really got to know you, Kevin would do zombie portraits, and he'd have a huge line. He'd have all these. You would be drawing these things nonstop. And what sticks in my head is, well, I'll let you say it because I think it's the same as always. What was your favorite zombie portrait?
The best one ever was a woman comes up and asks if I will draw her as a zombie. And I look at her, and very nice woman. And I'm like, yes, I totally will. And I'm like, I noticed that you're pregnant. And she's like, yes. I'm like, can I draw your baby eating its way out of you? And she's like, that would be effing awesome. And I'm like, yes. So one of my favorite ones I ever did, the baby's like, she's holding the baby and it's chewing on the umbilical cord. And after it ripped out of her and she's a zombie holding the baby. And she loved it so much. She sends me a picture of it in her office, and I zoom out of the picture and I realize it's a really nice office. So, and then I start looking around the picture and I'm like, this is a nice office. And I look, and next to that on the wall is her law degree. She's a lawyer in Baltimore. So next to her law degree is a picture of her baby eating its way outside of her. So it's probably my favorite story.
Jay's definitely, we got a lot of great stuff this year for Bardstone, and the Frankenstein book is gonna be awesome. We've seen the artwork and it's fantastic, and it's gonna not. And again, for that Frankenstein, it will not change the actual Frankenstein novelization. We've got Scott's done a prologue and epilogue to tie it into all the Crimson Shadow stuff.
It's
and same with
even this past weekend we had a little show in Brett. What was the town we were in? I always.
Crown Point, Indiana.
Yes.
We were northwest corner of Indiana in another time zone. And
we were really thrown off on where we were. But what a great show, a great outpouring of people. And the people that stopped by, we would get halfway through the pitch on the book and they'd just be like, oh, yeah, I want that. Oh, yeah, you said Jack the Ripper? Yeah, here we go. It was fantastic. But the people that we were able to tell about Frankenstein and that everyone loves the fact that we are not altering the actual origin stories of the creatures.
Well, this is
intact, completely intact.
To give a little backstory to this, to kind of go back to the beginning of all this, it was actually the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story that I read, and you'll see we're actually at the $300 mark, 50% there. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I read the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story with the intent of bringing it to publication, and when I read it, I realized this entire story that's 200 years old was brand new to me. We think we know these stories, Frankenstein included, Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, all these things. We think we know these stories through pop culture, but pop culture has so twisted it. The original stories were like brand new to me. The ending was a surprise to me. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, I gotta find a way to work this in. So with Crimson Shadows, as I was growing this and developing and brainstorming with Brett and Kevin, the idea came to me that I can incorporate these characters into the storyline, but do it in a way that keeps the original story to encourage readers to go back and read the originals. So that's the intent of this. And same with Frankenstein. I went through and read that whole book to do the novelization, and I was stunned. It's nothing like I thought. There's just a handful of elements that actually tie into what pop culture talks about. So and
I've collected and viewed all these movies. I'm a huge Frankenstein fan. All the different novelizations, the different movies, all the different comic adaptions. It's one of the few things I really seek out, and if I see anything Frankenstein and it's comic related, I buy it. I really enjoy it. So even when we were discussing, I had even blurred memory on what the actual story was, because you were correct. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Oh, it's just you in your mind. You got so many stories. You start to take them and put them together, and and it all gets combined into what you believe is the story. So it's so wonderful.
Buy the Crimson Universe and make that your headcanon, because we got the original novels, and then the Crimson Universe is the continuation of those original characters, is what we're doing.
Yeah,
with our own unique visuals. We've made Frankenstein our own, gave him a unique look while incorporating classic elements of the character still.
Yeah, I love it so much. It really is a love letter to those authors, Bram Stoker, Mary Shelley. It's so wonderful, and it's such a great book. I love being part of it. I love working on it. All these books that we've done.
The other neat twist we're adding to this is, because Crimson Shadow is a historical fiction universe, we've found ways to incorporate the actual authors into the storyline as well. We got Mary Shelley in the prologue, and we have Dracula explaining what happened that weekend at the cottage and where these stories were made. And we found a way to mix in reality with fiction so that the authors and the creatures are coexisting.
Yeah. And if you want to see something really cool, there's a movie called, I believe it's Haunted Summer. And it talks about Mary Shelley and her husband and the group they were together that summer when she came up with the idea. They were basically doing a lot of drugs.
That's a great movie. I came across that not that long ago. It's almost a drama.
Yeah, it came out around. It is a drama. It's done very dramatic wise. It's done as a period piece. I believe it came out around 88 or 89, somewhere around then. And it was really good.
Here's the interesting thing about that time period that brought forth so much classic. I mean, that weekend, not only did we get Frankenstein, the genre or characters of the concept of vampires was created too. The very first vampire novel came out of that weekend. It's amazing, but it actually goes back to the year before. There was actually a volcanic eruption halfway around the world that was so big that ash covered the earth, and the following year it was known as the year without a summer. the sun just looked like a faded orb in the sky because there was so much ash in the air, and there was actually snow in the summertime. So because of this year-long cloudy cover with no sun, people were in this form of depression, and that fed this gothic horror feel that became so much classic works came out of it.
Yeah, and it came out. I looked at it. It came out in '88, and it starred Eric Stoltz and Laura Dern, Alex Winter from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yep.
So Alice Krieg was in it as well. So it's a really good cast, and it was definitely. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's definitely a good movie if you can find it. It's a difficult one to find nowadays.
Yeah, I found it on either Amazon or I
think it's popped up on there a couple times.
I randomly just look up, Frankenstein, Dracula, and on different things randomly, and because they change that stuff, almost every month. So when I get bored, I'll just start hitting up and looking at any of these old movies, and you come across some really interesting takes and some interesting takes. I mean, even going back, like you said, into the 80s of ways that they would tell these stories. It's always fascinating to me, and I think these stories spark so much creativity in people, and I know it has in us. And,
yeah, and if you look at everything that was there, you've got authors Lord Byron with Mary Shelley and Percy Shelley, and so much that came out of that right there has actually still influenced us to this day.
Right, exactly.
The other awesome thing and that came out of that weekend is it William Polidor? I might be saying the name wrong. I'm going from memory, which is always dangerous. Let me Polidori. I'm typing his name wrong. Anyway,
there's John Polidori, which was played by Alex Winter.
John, there we go. William was my Dracula's alter ego that I put into the story. So John Polidori, what was interesting is he was brought by Lord Byron to be his personal physician. He was a germaphobe. And Lord Byron's publisher, Lord Byron was known to be very eccentric and liked to sleep around and do all kinds of stuff. So his publisher actually paid John Polidori to record everything on paper, take notes of the entire summer there, because they thought it was almost like the first National Enquirer piece. They were going to create a book of all of Lord Byron's escapades without him knowing. Mm-hmm. And they were going to release it to all the scandals to make all this money. So detailed notes on what stories were being read to each other with the ghost stories. And Polidori, no, it was Lord Byron came up with the vampire story, and Polidori wrote all the notes, and then Polidori actually came out with the first vampire book, but stole most of Lord Byron's story that he told verbally.
Right.
So we have all of these transcripts of what happened that weekend. It's quite amazing. Even down to the vision that Lord Byron had when he looked at Mary Shelley was breastfeeding at the time. He had this old horror story popped in his head of this breast with mouths or eyes on them or something, and it freaked him out. He ran out of the room. All this weird stuff that we know happened that weekend. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But enough all that. We got to talk Poe.
Well, and again, a lot of this stuff is what helped influence even Poe.
True.
Yep. Yeah. The influence that Poe's had, to this day and will continue to have for, generations to come. Obviously he had a huge influence on me, and so many people. That's why I think it resonates so much. So many teachers, are buying the books or the pins. It's just wonderful. I know I say this every time we have a podcast, but it's so wonderful when 13 to 16-year-old kids come by and be like, I love Poe, and they buy the book or they're buying something because they love Poe. It just gives me hope for the new generation. I know I say that every time, but it's so wonderful to actually see, that people like Poe and these authors are still, recognized and people really still resonate with these stories that they told.
Oh, yeah.
So
we haven't talked about stretch goals yet. We got a couple stretch goals.
Oh yeah. So stretch goals. I want to do 2 fun things. So I want to do a stretch goals of if we get 50 backers. Once we get to that point, everyone will get a free button. I've got 3 different designs. So I'll randomly, everyone will get a free button once we reach the 50 backer mark. If we reach $1,000, everyone will get a 2.5 by 3-inch vinyl Poe sticker, which is beautiful, of the Raven, Poe in purple there. So I wanted to do one that was $1 and one that was a backer. I love seeing the backer rewards. I think that was our good friend Sean Forney had that idea, and we've started to adapt. I'll say adapt instead of steal. Adapt that to our Kickstarters. Yep. It's a wonderful way to do a stretch goal.
Yep. And then, like we said earlier, you have everything in possession, so you have all the rewards ready to go.
It's literally sitting to my left here in a box, waiting to be shipped to all you hungry fans out there. So it's that's going to be the most fun, is that that turnover time from once the Kickstarter is done and everything gets solidified with the information. It'll be shipped the next month. I think I've put I believe it says April, only because the Kickstarter actually ends in March, on March 2nd. But for all intents and purposes, I really plan on having most of this shipped out by the end of March.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is when this finishes, it's a quick Kickstarter too. It's only a 2-week Kickstarter. So,
so 2 weeks from today,
this finishes, so once it finishes and everything's solidified with that, I've actually already got all the folders over there ready to pack everything up. This will be very quick, shipped out very fast. And again, thank you. And we're already at 419, so thank you guys so much.
We need $181 and we get the hit the minimum goal. So
that'd be awesome if we can do that before 8 p.m. Pins really are popular. They're so popular.
People. I mean, I started putting that in the questionnaire at the end of the Kickstarter, and in this last one, I think it was 100 backers, so I think about 65 people answered the question, and 40 people said not vinyl pins. So I'm like, well, you got to listen. And we see them at the shows all the time, and I think they're really neat. And I'm really happy to have something like this to offer, as a reward for future Kickstarters for this, and to have at the tables for people. It's definitely a fantastic thing to have. Love it.
And one of the things we're learning, everything we've done so far have been comic books, but one of the things we're learning on Kickstarter is there are defined categories. So it tends to be better for something like this to be its own standalone Kickstarter than merging with the books, because when you do it as a standalone, it can fit into a specific categories, and then those people who are looking specifically for those things are able to find it better. So that's why we're doing them in this manner, where, like my Frankenstein book, that's going to be a novel, but so that will be published separate. I'm not going to join. Originally, I was going to merge it with my trade paperback, but of comics. But we really need them to be in separate categories in Kickstarter. So it's a kind of a divide and conquer method. But so if you were wondering why are we doing pins by itself instead of with books or whatever, that's kind of the logic behind it, with how the algorithms work.
Yeah, it's a different. It's like being a different department in a department store. Yeah, similar merchandise in different departments.
Yeah, I mean, just as an example, I attempted to do this in the last Crimson Shadows, and we had a total of 5 people buy the pins. You've already have 8 on yours. So,
and that's the hard part, because if they don't realize, look at the add-ons, they don't realize some of that stuff's there, even though we talk about it. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and they're so popular at the shows. I mean, we did the research. I mean,
you did a test run, and it did very well at a show.
Yeah, and we talked to a lot of other artists and other people doing Kickstarters. and the vinyl pins are just it's just a great thing, and it's a completely different crowd. So if we can get this out in front of some other people and a different group of Kickstarter backers, then that's great. We're hoping just to spread the word for Bardstone and reach out and put our books into other people's hands. That's really the goal here. Is we want everyone to enjoy these books as much as we enjoy making them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, faux show.
Word.
Word to your mother.
Yeah, I foresee Frankenstein. Yes, definitely. We I believe we'll probably have those pins sometime this year. I'm imagining
for the Frankenstein or the pins.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes. So originally I wanted to do it during the last Kickstarter. Kevin did a phenomenal job of designing the pins that I'm going to be doing. We just have to make it happen with only 5 people. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough it's an expensive there's a big upfront cost making all the molds for the pins. So we just couldn't do it, unfortunately. But this is kind of the test run here. If this does well, we're going to use the same format to launch the Crimson Shadows pin set.
Yep.
We'll do it as a Kickstarter.
It'll be fun. I'd love to have, us each do that, get some Boomtown pins in the future. And they're quite fun. I'll tell you what, the one thing I guess I have all these books around my house out here in the Oasis, and my kids never pick them up. Right. I love my kids. They think it's cool, but they never pick up the comics. These pins showed up, and everybody wanted some pins. Every one of the kids have pins on their backpacks. They love these things. So that told me pretty quickly. I'm like, all right, that's it's definitely going to be a popular thing with that genre, that crowd, that generation. So I'm not going to argue that they want to have Edgar Allan Poe in their backpacks. So I prefer that to some of the alternatives.
Well, I can tell you, half the pins I sold at San Diego, people right away were taking them off the card and putting them on somewhere.
Yeah,
they were just too cool. They wanted to show it off, and in fact, I had a couple of them that brought someone back. Yeah, there's their pin. I'm sold out. I've got this one. That's it. Yeah. I'll buy that one.
I do have to say one of the most popular ones, and this is probably going to be horribly, is this Nevermore pin, which is actually from Scott's cover from issue #1 of Poe.
Mm-hmm.
His wonderful cover of Edgar staring up at the Raven. It was just a great idea for a pin, and it turned out so good. It's so beautiful, and it has been one of the most popular ones when I was showing it off at the shows to get reaction.
If you can, Kevin, show the back side of the pin real quick.
Yeah, so the back is this one has two of the I don't know what you call that, pin stops.
Yeah, little pin backers.
Posts. Backers, 2 posts. So this works out really, really well. I was really happy they did that. I didn't anticipate that they would do that, but it makes perfect sense. To give you an idea of the others, so there's Poe, which I love the black and white one. I love the purple too, but the black and white one just has a great look. So these all have individual backers, but it works very well.
Yeah. And they also point out the fact that you could really see that they are metal when you look at the very back of the
card. Oh yeah. Yeah, they are.
Red looks awesome. I love red.
Oh god, yeah, the red is it's so striking. And then to give you an idea what the back of that is going to look like. But yeah, it's they blew my mind. It was such a good quality. I really was shocked at how good it was. Yeah. It blew away my expectations, and I'm looking forward to doing some more. The bad thing is, and I have like 5 more in mind that I could do for Poe. So
Oh,
So you know,
actually have a volume 2 of the pin set. So.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So I really like them, and I think it's a nice addition to the Bardstone merchandise, along with some T-shirts in the future and a lot of things coming.
Yep.
The more you guys help us and back us, the more things we can offer. And I'll tell you, it keeps us going, and it keeps us able to do this. And
I think James gonna have to order more pins before this Kickstarter's over with, because it sounds like his daughter's gonna snag a bunch. So.
Yep. That's always good. That's what happens.
And hopefully we'll have them at Indiana if you happen to miss out on some of those. But that's gonna be who knows? We may sell through these during this Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully after this is done, I'll look and see where everything is, and I'll do a reorder. But the reason I ordered these so early last year was I had no idea how long it was going to take. I knew what was going on with metal. That's my day job. I deal with metal all day long with
even with
a lot of other things.
With Ready Comics, there was a delay with the metal for my metal prints.
Yep.
So it's a real thing. So
yeah. So I'll order a reorder, but there's no guarantee if that's a month or 3 months or how long. The only thing I can say is it'll be much easier because I already have the molds. Mm-hmm. So once you buy the molds and the reorders, that's a big part of the lead time and a big part of the headache of ordering. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I think in the future it's going to be something we'll always have at our tables. So,
I just sent out a update through Crimson Shadows to let all my former backers know that we are now live on Poe. So I sent that out. I had an error yesterday saying we're launching tonight. I've been so messed up this week with everything going on personally. It's like when I made that post, I'm like, oh, that's tonight, thinking it's Wednesday. I don't know why, because I know Wednesdays is our podcast. I didn't think our podcast was that day, but for some reason I thought it was Wednesday. It was, oh my God, I've been so out of it.
I'm the same way. I think I've been home 5 days in the last 3 weeks. So I don't know up from down right now, honestly, to tell you the truth. So
sure.
I'll just pour myself another drink and watch people buy the pens and smile and be a very happy man. So
yeah, I mean we're at 420, so I think we had a $1 backer, or we at like 419 or something.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. We went from 8 to 9. So someone just dropped $1. Thank you. Hey, a buck helps.
Thank you. Everything helps.
If we can get 1 million $1 backers, that'll be awesome, because then we'll have no product to ship either.
Very true.
I was thinking about this the other day. Kickstarters is like a baby. Like the whole process of making a book from beginning to end and everything. And, everyone likes the process, the initial baby making process. Everyone enjoys that. And that's like the fun idea where everybody runs to, I have an idea. Mm-hmm. But then you got to like incubate the baby for 9 months. That's making the book. And it's hard. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. You get to the
point where, it's Damon Wayans once said, his wife was so high, he just looked at her, he goes, bam, take that. See you in 9 months. Prepare to carry.
But it's like you
9
just
months
want
later,
it done.
There's your kid.
Yep. So you just want it done. You want to push it out and be over with. But then you got to deliver. And the delivery process is the Kickstarter. It's painful.
Just so you all know, Kevin and I are the only ones drinking when Scott's.
Yeah, Scott's the sober one. What the hell?
I've got my decaf coffee going.
Yeah. It's even decaf. What the hell?
But it's good.
I'm getting old.
Yeah. One thing that we've always done, and this is, I just got a Kickstarter package from someone recent this past week. I'm not gonna say who it was. It was a great Kickstarter. This person took a little while to get it out. One thing I've been very proud of with Bardstone, what we've done is, when you guys see our Kickstarters pop up, we are usually right there ready to send it off to print or creation. I mean, the Poe pens are even a step ahead of that. Kevin got those ahead of time. He goes, I love them. I'm ordering them. They're going to be here. I just want it done. And I was glad he did because we had him at San Diego. I think you had him at C2E2, didn't you, Kev?
Yeah. I had them at 2 shows. I wanted to see what the response was, and I also wanted to have them in hand to go and compare them to other people. Like I said, because I didn't know. I really, it was such a new thing to me, and I think to all of us. I'm like, okay, it looks like it's something that is going to be. I'd love it, but I'm like, I really, we had never done anything like this before, so it was great to have them in hand to be able to, and I wanted that, and I was really happy to be able to have them to be able to go to 2 very large shows and have a lot of good feedback and data to review.
Yep. And I can tell you this from being in 2 different sections of San Diego, we got a lot of good feedback on that from different people. And I didn't have any on the table for this past weekend, but I know Kevin had a few out to show off, and people right away like, "Oh, is that a pin? Oh, they love the heart. They love what you offer for the different ones." And so,
yeah, I'll tell you, out of all of them, the heart's probably my favorite one because that was such a bitch to draw. I drew that damn thing like 8 times before I was happy with it. So I really almost didn't do that as a pin, but I'm like I was so happy with how it finally turned out. I'm like, well, we'll see how they do it with a pin, and it's amazing. It is actually it's actually a 2-tone red, which you can't see it in the picture, but when you get this pin, the blood's a different red as the heart. It absolutely blew my mind at how intricate that design is. Exactly the way I drew it. So I think I'm the happiest with the heart. And when people say, "Oh, I want the heart," it makes my heart flutter a little bit. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, you bring up a good thing, like an interesting point about drawing the heart and trying to get it right. You also drew the designs for the Crimson Shadows pins we'll do down the road. What challenges are there in drawing the design for the pin versus our typical drawings in the comics?
Wow, for me, it's a 100% different mindset. I think I said this before. When I'm actually penciling and I'm doing the stuff for Poe, my pencils are loose, and to say loose, they're like non-existent. It's just like circles, ovals. It's so loose, it's not even funny. I finish everything up in the inking stage, so it's a very free flowing kind of style for me, and then very thick lines. So when you're thinking the pins, you have to think of how that translates to the way it gets molded and the way the colors are going to work. So you have to think like almost in a 3D fashion when you want to look at the pins. So it's completely rethinking the way that you would draw something. It's a completely different thing for me, and I'm sure other people can do this in the computer. But for me, I took some of the original stuff that we had and redrew it and just try to simplify it.
You're actually envisioning
idea.
Because where the colors meet, you'll have a raised.
Right. Section. Exactly. So exactly.
Where these raised pieces of metal will be as well, because those will be the lines that you're creating, correct?
Right. So, and they do a lot of magic with the way they do the mold. So you tell them kind of what you want the negative space and the positive space to be as far as the colors. So you can have a couple different color choices, and you have.
Hello.
I think he froze.
Yeah, he froze. Well, he's in a good pose there.
There we go.
You can hear us.
Yay!
Well,
so
one of the kids probably turned on some high streaming service or something and took up all the internet.
Yep.
I'm sure he'll be back, but it's going well. It's $420 here.
This is a great launch for this, and because we only did a minimal promo ahead of time, a little bit out of music, stuff like that, sending stuff out when we could.
Yep.
So,
yeah, for sure. Is he?
I maybe trying to pop back. I don't know.
Don't know. Anyway, we'll talk to Kevin.
Yeah, I let's cover real quick the options here. Yep, he's popped out. He'll pop back in.
Yeah.
So as we're gonna run it back this here, there's 6 pins available. You can buy them all individually. There is the set for 25 that you get these 5 pins.
Leaving out
5.
the purple.
Purple Poe is sold separately as an add-on.
Yeah.
And here's all your add-ons. You can actually get if we don't hit the goal for the buttons, which I think we will hit it, but you could get a 1-inch and 1/2 inch button for $1. The vinyl stickers are $2. Each individual pin is $8.
We decided to recap.
My computer died. I'm sorry. It's like your battery's low. I grabbed the cable and it's like, you're dead. You're done. Thanks for the 5-second warning, computer. Jeez.
Yep. So yeah, so like I say, the add-ons you can do the pins individual, $8 each. The digital comics $6, issues 1, 2, 3. Now is that $6 for all 3 or $6 each?
For all 3.
Okay.
I really think that we're gonna have some fans out there that are just gonna get the pins, and I wanted, I'm so happy that people want the pins, but I really want people to pick up the books, and I really think they're gonna love them. So I wanted to offer something that could get them the digital copies at a reasonable price. So it's probably the lowest they'll ever be to get all 3 issues.
Yep.
So it's a great add-on.
So fantastic. So yeah, and then we get the stretch goals, 50 backers and $1,000, the 2 different stretch goals. So
and just to let you guys know too, that purchase price of the digital comics being $2 each like that, that's a good buy. If you go through our comic book distributor, Drive Through Comics, the normal price is $3.99, but we do a discounted price to $2.99. So getting it through the Kickstarter, you'll get it even cheaper.
Yep.
So you save $1 per book. So that's a good buy.
Absolutely.
Oh, cool. Well, we're coming up on the hour mark here in a couple minutes. Is there anything else before we sign off?
Nice. Thanks, everybody. It's heck, we're 3/4 of the way there. So thank you guys so much. I'm looking forward to meeting this goal and hopefully getting these stretch goals. And again, thank you for everyone that's backed already, and thank you guys for all the past support.
Awesome. Sure. Awesome. Well, hey, let's run that quick video again, and then join us next week, 10 a.m. for Odd Musings. And we won't do a pin update next Wednesday, only because I'll be using the StreamYard during the normal time. But we'll figure out another time and do a quick update next week with you guys. Yeah. Maybe either Tuesday or Thursday. So we'll talk more off the air about that. So until then, y'all have a good night.